Hey guys, CryptoClover here. Wanted to go over some recent news and a few different things that are going on in the market. So let's see here. I'm just going to go ahead and start off with this article. I woke up this morning and was on a chat with Joey Rocket, and he was bringing to my attention some different information that's coming out about Jamie Dimon, head of JP Morgan, being busted for Bitcoin laundering after he was essentially calling it a fraud, a few weeks before. So I thought that was some interesting crypto karma, as we were kind of talking about that. He was asking for my thoughts on this. I was like, this is news to me. I just woke up. But I put the article in the description below. You guys can check that out on Cointelegraph. It's really only being reported on cryptocurrency news outlets. And I think that's a very important point, because what you had is you had this head of this huge conglomerate bank that was trashing this currency, and we were saying now we have proof behind the scenes that a lot of the things he was saying was would be hypocritical, because of what we're finding out now to be very different than what he was essentially leading on to believe. And so there was I thought this was a really interesting video about this on Andreas Antonopoulos did a video here. I'm going to play a little bit of it here for you guys. See, I'm not sure how the volume is on this. So there's a little bit of information. Actually, I'm not going to go ahead and play this whole video, so I'm going to pause this right here. I'm going to leave the description for below. I can't hear it now that I've got my mic plugged in. But this is really interesting. I always like when Andreas Antonopoulos speaks on some of these aspects. He can be very witty with his response, and it's also very straightforward and honest response in the way that he views the kind of the bigger picture of what's going on. I really highly doubt you would see a person like Jamie Dimon actually coming out of the woodworks and challenging someone like Andreas Antonopoulos to a debate, or someone that is very knowledgeable in the cryptocurrency space and having a very honest discussion about this technology that is taking over different parts of the financial sector and is a huge threat to the banks. It's going to do a lot of damage to the banking industry once this really starts to go mainstream over the next few years here. And so you're going to see a lot of efforts by some of these larger conglomerates to try to manipulate the market, and however they can. So I think that was just a really interesting talk by Andreas Antonopoulos, a very interesting article, very interesting just, in general, how this is all really starting to shake out. So I encourage you guys to kind of take a look at that and whatnot. Let's go ahead, and I'm going to check in real quick with the market. Bitcoin is down a little bit, and part of that is a recent surge with Bitcoin Cash. So Bitcoin Cash volumes have come way up, and it's about 35%. And so I've been watching a lot of videos on the Bitcoin to Bitcoin Cash debate. There was some really interesting stuff by Richard Hart. I was watching some of his videos. They're very long, and I want to go through and break some of those down, because I disagree on some of the points that he brought up, but I have a lot of respect for Richard Hart. And so I really think that he's coming from a good place. I think that there's a few things that maybe I would have a different perspective on, and I'm interested in kind of diving into some of those topics and kind of breaking those out a little bit more and doing a little bit more due diligence, because essentially Richard Hart's primary stance on the whole Bitcoin to Bitcoin Cash controversy is that it is driven by the market, but he's really in favor of the development team that's behind Bitcoin. And he's a huge holder of Bitcoin, and he's seeing that as digital gold and all of these other ones as not as viable as the true Bitcoin is what he's kind of looking this out to be. And he's also looking at it as a kind of kind of almost like a conspiracy with Chinese miners who are switching over to Bitcoin Cash. And some of the things about what he was saying, I kind of disagree, and I would love to kind of dive into these topics a little bit deeper. You know, I'm seeing you know, things a little bit more from a market perspective, and so I'm looking at really what's going on in the market, what's affecting the market, and the hash rates, you know, is really a big aspect to the price fluctuations that you're seeing with Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash. So just coming into the currency trading here, we have Bitcoin is down, volumes are down, you know, to about a little below 40%. Bitcoin Cash has surged. It's surged, you know, again in the Korean markets, BitFinex and Bittrex. So there's been quite a bit of volume. It's almost rivaling Bitcoin in terms of volume of trading over the last 24 hours. And this is not a coin you can just discount and say, hey, you know, Bitcoin is better than Bitcoin Cash, or, you know, vice versa. It's going to always fluctuate and change over time, and I think it's a really interesting dynamic that we're seeing right now in the market. They are the top two cryptocurrencies being traded, and it's, you know, doing, you know, over 70% of the total volume of trading in the market, and so that's an interesting aspect. Number 3 is Tether. So you're seeing people pull out and not really sure where the market's going to go. You're seeing a little bit of a pullback with Bitcoin's price. People are, you know, going into Tether, and Ethereum and Ripple are still, you know, kind of rounding out the top 5. So Ripple was one I was bringing up the other day, and I was doing a little bit of a walkthrough with you guys. I wasn't able to finish that, but I ended up buying about like 5,500 units of Ripple in my Bittrex account. You know, maybe it could potentially be a little bit high, but I think that the volumes that we're seeing with Ripple, let's just take a look. There was a huge surge after that news that came out that Ripple was partnering with, forget what it was. There was basically some positive news that came out, and then you just, boom, you saw a huge surge in volumes, which, let's look over the last day here. So you had a huge surge in volumes. Volumes have kind of tapered down a little bit, and you're seeing kind of prices reflect that, where they're coming down. You know, along with that. Yeah, you saw this huge surge, huge spike in price. I think the way I look at this, and some of the history that I've seen with Ripple in the past, is that Ripple tends to kind of like wake up in the market. So boom, like a lot of volumes kind of come into Ripple, and there's some interest there. Maybe it dies down a little bit, but I think this is one that is going to come back, and we're going to see volumes come up quite a bit, and we could see prices really start to surge with this currency here in the near future. So I think it's a good long-term hold. That's why I kind of got in where I'm at. You know, that's kind of my stance with Ripple right now. As far as Bitcoin Cash, I think it still could come down in price. You know, I think that Bitcoin Cash's price is going to fluctuate a lot. I think that there's going to be you know, some really you know, interesting dynamics with the hash rates on that SHA-256 algorithm with that Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash both share. So what we're seeing is that, you know, depending on the difficulty and how miners are switching between mining Bitcoin versus Bitcoin Cash, you're seeing that really reflective in the markets. And what you're seeing is some of the larger Asian exchanges that are trading on some of those indicators. So I believe that the Asian markets are much more dialed into what is trending with these coins, as opposed to maybe what we're seeing in some of the American markets. I just don't see the same level of responsiveness in American, you know, exchanges, you know, overall, as opposed to you know, kind of the widespread you know, volumes that we've seen in these currencies in the Asian exchanges. I'm gonna go ahead and check in with the chat, see if anyone has got anything interesting to say. What's going on, Mark Lane? Mace 415, Justin, Cali Coins, Alan Porter, Marcus Silva. What's going on? Yeah, American Express. That's what it was. Thank you, Alan. Yeah, so Ripple had some sort of partnership with that. So I thought that was you know, the big reason why we saw you know, surge in volumes. And so based on how that kind of comes out, you know, here in the near future, we might see you know, volumes really start to take off. I was reading some interesting information where they were talking about the exchange of or just the overall liquidity of assets being able to be transferred between the U.S. and the U.K. with Ripple. So that was a huge source of excitement for that platform right there. So interesting to check out. We're going to see how that you know takes off. I'm you know, maybe not the best guy to really dive into the analytics of the technology. I'm looking at it more from a market perspective and how people are trading on that information. And I'm more interested in seeing, you know, where volumes are going, where, you know, prices are going to go, and see, you know, how that kind of trends over the market, so that I can kind of you know, I can trade on some of those indicators. I can give you guys a little bit of some interesting feedback to make some informed decisions on how you would like to you know, diversify your cryptocurrency portfolio and whatnot. So another thing I wanted to bring up, I was also looking at a lot of information that you know, Trevon James has come under quite a bit of scrutiny from JSNIP, from what was crypto. Well, depending on how you kind of want to look at it, there was Crypto Daily. That, you know, they're not really diving too much into it. You know, they're not really calling people out, you know, a whole lot. Sunny Decree was another one, and Superman. So it was mainly Superman and JSNIP that were very critical of Trevon. And I think it's also interesting that Trevon just recently passed both of them in terms of subscribers. I think that had a lot to do with it. The points that Superman is bringing up on BitConnect are pretty misinformed, and I mean, I'm looking at, you know, putting together a video where I can kind of debunk some of the things that he's stating. I do have some, you know, respect. I think Superman brings some value to the cryptocurrency market, so I don't want to talk, you know, too negatively about him and some of his positions. I think there are some interesting things that he does bring up in his videos. It's really difficult for me to watch some of his videos at length for some of the topics that he's bringing up. But it is interesting to kind of hear some perspectives. JSNIP seems to be more kind of an off the cuff guy and just kind of talking. But a lot of the points that he's bringing up about you know, BitConnect essentially being a Ponzi, and he's really, you know, it's difficult for him to kind of get off this topic. And so I kind of wanted to go over that a little bit, because he's lumping things in. He's comparing, you know, BitConnect to USI Tech. He keeps calling it MSI Tech. Laser Online, you know, BitPetite, which was the big one that he was pushing previously, that a lot of people lost out on. So I mean, that's I think one of the big misconceptions, that you need to kind of distinguish BitConnect from some of these other lending platforms. They're just not the same. So the reason, you know, they're not really you can't lump them together is these are lending platforms that where you lend your Bitcoin to a company that kind of feeds you, you know, a story about, you know, how they're able to multiply your assets, giving you some sort of return based on how they invest the money as a company. They claim to be trading. They claim to be investing in certain technologies. They claim to be mining. All you really have is a website, and that's completely different than BitConnect, where you have a coin that has now almost a $2.5 billion market cap. It has a coin, a blockchain, one that's widely recognized on CoinMarketCap. I mean, they've, you know, recently distinguished the circulating supply, which kind of knocked them down. That was kind of a controversy that I brought up in some of my previous videos, because one of the main culprits, again, was some of these coins that BitConnect was passing, and the big one was Dash. So Dash has never been critical of any of these other lending platforms until it got passed by BitConnect. And then now you had some interesting information that came out where they were, critical of the circulating supply, and that's hypocritical from Dash's perspective when you look at their whole supernode program, where those coins are also locked up and not able to be bought, sold, or traded. So looks like my internet is really slow. My live stream the other day, I really apologized. I don't know what's going on with the internet here. I tend to be having some problems, so if the stream's cutting in and out, I apologize. I am checking out today and getting into a hotel, a much nicer hotel, where I'm going to be hopefully having some better internet. I mean, this is ridiculous. So I hope you guys are not feeling the pain with the live stream. Maybe you guys can let me know how the live stream is turning out. Here we go. Finally. Okay. So yeah. So I wanted to bring this up. Just taking a look at BitConnect scaled back a little bit. I was mentioning in my live streams before that I was anticipating that BitConnect was going to hit $300, which it did. It went up to 305, 310, somewhere in that range, and it's kind of dropped back down. The reason it's dropped back down is of course, it's kind of tied to Bitcoin's price. So Bitcoin has scaled back a little bit because of Bitcoin Cash. Everything's intertwined, and that is why it's really important to have kind of an overall perspective of what's going on in the market. And that's one of the things I'm really trying to bring to you guys, is giving you a little bit of my perspective, since I have a pretty big background in trading, especially with alt currencies and whatnot. So this is a coin that it's its own coin, its own platform. There's a lot of misconceptions that that you're lending Bitcoin to BitConnect, and that's not accurate. What you're doing is you're buying their specific coin. So you're buying the BitConnect coin and you're lending the BitConnect coin to the platform. It's completely separate, and this is kind of part of the innovation that BitConnect has brought to the cryptocurrency market. The other misconception is that you're being paid out in Bitcoin. This is not true. You again are paid out in kind of you're in a lending. You have a lending wallet. That lending wallet then takes those funds and converts it into BCC coins, depending on the current market price. So it's completely separate from Bitcoin. You can trade them for Bitcoin, and you can trade them on a number of different markets. You can trade them on several different markets now. Now that it's been on BTC, the volumes haven't really come up. So 95% of that volume is on the BCC exchange, and this has been pretty typical. Is that we're not seeing a whole lot of volume traded outside of the BCC exchange, and part of that is the coin itself is its primary utilitarian value is for putting out loans. That's kind of the way that it's set up. And so the arbitrage opportunities in the different exchanges might not be the greatest. So you can kind of see a little bit here where BCC is at about 290, and some of the other exchanges about 280. It looks like it's 328 if you're trading on the BCC Ethereum pair. There's some opportunity with that, even with Nova Exchange. I was doing that a little bit where, I mean, look at this. Like if you're trading BCC to Dogecoin, you're looking at a price of 380 bucks. We could, go into the market. Maybe that's not entirely accurate because a lot of this data that pulls in may not be entirely accurate. So, but, it at least gives you a little bit of an indicator that you can kind of go in and trade on this coin. You can't do these with these other lending platforms. The only one that's somewhat close is Regal Coin, though Regal Coin's going through a fork process right now because they're having issues and problems with some of the technology that's behind that. So some of these things I kind of wanted to bring to light. I mean, I didn't want to really do a whole video on dispelling the myth of BitConnect as a Ponzi, but if you are going to really come out and attack some of the YouTubers that are promoting, BitConnect. I mean, there's been some quite a bit of source of scrutiny behind some of these things, and some of it's warranted. I'm not necessarily going to defend, you know, all the actions of all the YouTubers that are promoting BitConnect. The top affiliate right now is Trevon James, and he's going to be subject to more criticism than others. He has a certain strategy that he's doing. He's looking at it more from a game perspective, like, you know, this is a competition, and he's trying to essentially win the competition. And, you know, so right now with the current structure with BitConnect is it pays more to market yourself in certain ways. So I personally haven't really fallen into some of those different strategies just yet. I just don't really feel like it's my style. It's something I really wanted to get into. I'm more interested in the technology behind the scenes and kind of working with some different people on you know, different, you know, trading platforms, arbitrage platforms, multimedia, working with a few different things, and also trying to find a home base based on taxation and regulation and compliance issues. So that's kind of been a little bit more of my focus. I may switch my focus, you know, here in the future. It looks like Trevon, with one of his latest videos that he was putting out, is he's looking to also, you know, maybe change up what he's doing. JSnip is really kind of been obsessed with it. He's been attacking it and kind of, you know, again, just kind of speaking off the cuff. And so some of his points I could kind of go in depth and debunk some of those, you know, piece by piece, but a lot of it is speculation. So there's some things that BitConnect is just not going to reveal, and you know, that's a source of frustration, and immediately people look to you know, to call it out or to call out certain aspects to the platform. And I think that I'm trying to at least provide a little bit of clarity based on some of the information that I've been exposed to, and, you know, see if there's, you know, some different things that I can offer. But I think for those that are in BitConnect, a lot of people are very grateful to the platform because of the financial security that they've been able to obtain by investing and kind of working with this platform. So that's something that I think is worth mentioning. Yeah, I mean, you know, like some of the points he's bringing up is the referral affiliate scheme, which is kind of an ongoing, evolving process. You know, let's see, you know, it's these scam Ponzi schemes, rumors everywhere. I've gotten a lot of these. A lot of it is referenced from this, you know, the UK taking over and shutting down you know, the platform. And, you know, I don't know how many videos need to be put out that are showing that you know, they're changing structures, and this is just, you know, a lot of this is just misinformation that's being spread and causing a lot of confusion. You know, I put out a video here, BitConnect International. You guys can check it out. I did a little bit of an overview of all of the different promoters from the different countries, doing a little bit of a speech on, you know, some of their strategies for the platform. So you guys are welcome to check that out. I'm going to go ahead and check in with the chat, see if there's a... Could you send BCC into BitConnect from any of the exchanges and skip BTC? Yeah. I mean, it acts just like a coin. I was doing this all the time. When I was back in July, I was doing a lot of arbitrage with BCC. I was trying to basically get up to $20,000 for their promotional thing that they were doing for the annual event in Thailand. So I was doing a lot of arbitrage with Nova Exchange, not so much with Coin Exchange. Livecoin was hit or miss. There were some times where, you know, you would have these fluctuations in price, and you could just, you know, skip over to Livecoin, and boom, you saw like a $10, $15, you know, discrepancy in price. And so if you were on when we were having some of this volatility, and you were able to kind of, you know, move your coins around, you could take advantage of those arbitrage opportunities. So if you're looking for a little bit of a return, and you're looking to kind of build your BCC, that's something you can look into. It is something where you have to, you know, monitor the market, and if you don't have the time to do that, and you're really just looking to build your BCC coins, it's probably going to be much better just to get into staking and really kind of understand that your coins are locked up for a longer period of time. So again, that's going to need to take a little bit more confidence in the overall market. So when you come into Modesto, I think I'm gonna be in Modesto in December, like early to mid December. I'll be over there. I'll be more in the Ceres area, a little bit south, but that was kind of my plan, was to link up with some of my connections in the Spanish-speaking community over there. I haven't been out there since, what was that, July? I think it was July or August. I think August. Yeah, August is when I took off. Yeah, JSnip is deserting heat from his bit petite debacle. So some of these, I think he's speaking more on emotion than anything else, and I think Superman is more of a fear of missing out thing. He's been one that really. He really talks a lot about the smaller altcoins and like, hey, look, I see this as an opportunity. I see this as an opportunity for, yada, yada, yada reasons. And he also, shows proof that that some of these coins have been very good calls on his part, kind of looking over the history. I think with the alt currency market, you can throw money behind a lot of, interesting technologies and just hold on to it for a while, and once the alt market market comes up, you can sell out, and you can kind of show like, hey, we did well on this, did well on that. So there's some value there for sure. I just I think some people, I got out of trading alt currencies for a little while. I'm getting back more into it now. The reason I got out of it was I was more, really preoccupied at the time, and so there was a lot of things that I was doing where I didn't have the time to really monitor the markets as closely, as you need to be. The markets are a 24-hour market, and you need to really be dialed in, every 3 or 4 hours. You kind of need to know, like, hey, what's going on? Is there a breakout coin? Is there something that's trending? Like one of the things that I really like to do is come into the the recent gainers and losers, so you can see the biggest gainers. The big money is where I'm looking. The big market coins, Neo, Bitcoin Cash. So Neo, that's good to see. I'm holding a lot of Neo right now, so it's up 28%. So that's good news. Biggest losers. So you can kind of come in here again. I'm not looking at these ones that are trading $10,000. Like, I'm not interested in these smaller. They're almost like penny stocks. Much smaller coins. I tend to stay away from calling them shit coins, because I think that's a really derogatory way of looking at some of these technologies when you don't really know anything about them. So I think that's that's something I try to stay away from. But the only one really with some sizable volume here is this Open Trading Network, which I am not really familiar with. But it is, it's got, let's just take a quick little peek here, 58 million in market cap. Looks like it's come up, it's just hit the market in November. Where is it being traded? Livecoin, Cryptopia, Yobit, Ether Delta. So interesting one to kind of take a look at. It's lost a lot of money today. It's really kind of dipped off. Based on kind of the trend that we were saying here in these markets, it may or may not be one to get into, but I wouldn't recommend it at this point. I just would maybe keep it more on the radar. It's because it's going to be way down the list when you start kind of going through these coins, and we get back into, where is it, the 58. So it's number 82. So it's it's in the top 100. But if I'm allocating my trading portfolio, I'm holding most of my coins in the top 10. I want billion-dollar market cap coins. I want big coins, and I want to be monitoring those markets the most. So Bitcoin Cash, Neo are doing really well. Everything else is really, hasn't seen a whole lot of activity. If you scroll down, you start looking kind of what I like to look at is like mid-market coins. So coins over $100 million. You have Hash Share, which has been performing well for quite a while. It's been on the up and up. List, Quantum, EOS, OMI's Go, like OMG, Zcash, Cardano, Stellar Lumens, and then BitConnect down here. These are all going to be coins that would be worthwhile throwing 100, 500, $1,000 behind it and holding it, and maybe capping it at a certain point. So if you did get a huge spike in price, you can sell out at 10, 20, 30% profit, whatever your target is in your trading portfolio, and basically capture those price points, and then either decide to get back in or get back out, or just hold. I'm going to check in with the chat here. Let's see what other questions how are we doing on time? We're at 30 minutes right now, so I'm only gonna take a few questions here. I'm gonna get off the chat here. I'm trying to keep these fairly short so people can consume them when they're not on the live stream. TrevonGate. Well, TrevonGate was a term that he brought up. It's just he's just under a lot of attack right now from 3 or 4 different YouTubers. That are prominent YouTubers, guys that have a following, guys that that have people behind them. But the major 2 are JSnip and Superman, that are at about 50,000 subscribers, and Trevon James just passed both of them. So I think that has a lot to do with it. Yeah, people say his Udemy courses are bad. I mean, he's a Brit. He's difficult for me to kind of listen to sometimes, and part of it is, I think every person's going to have their strengths and their weaknesses, and I would like to see him doing more collaboration. I mean, gosh, I really am looking to do the same thing. I'm trying to collaborate more with YouTubers and whatnot. I think that's going to help. Really bring the community as a whole up. I've been traveling so much that's a little bit difficult. There's not a whole lot of YouTubers that are traveling out here in Asia, so perhaps maybe I'll have some opportunities when I come back to the States. When I come back out to Asia, that's going to be something I'm going to be looking at, is partnering or networking with some of those guys. Do you think it's a good time to buy Bitcoin Cash or wait for a pullback? What I would do, if you really want to get technical about it, I would monitor the hash rates. And if you see the hash rates explode with Bitcoin Cash, and you see the markets in Korea really take off, I think that's maybe a good time to get in, at least for the short term. If you're trading more on a daily basis, if you're looking at it as a long-term hold, I think prices will come back down, and I think they're going to fluctuate much more so than Bitcoin. So I would maybe look to buy the dip. I saw prices at it was like $700 or $800 yesterday. Really came down, and then that was a really low buying price. I was like, it's if you're monitoring the markets, that's a low price considering what we just saw, and that is most likely not going to trend in that direction. The prices have come back up. I think there's more interest in this aspect and how it's going to regulate itself with Bitcoin. But the trading volumes is the primary thing that I look at. Bitcoin's down and trading volumes of Bitcoin Cash are up. And the hash rates have been something where you've seen Bitcoin Cash really starting to compete with Bitcoin in that aspect. So maybe take questions here. Clover, you're coming to the Blockchain Expo, correct? What do you think is going to be presented by BitConnect? I'm coming to the Blockchain Expo. I'll be there Monday to like Saturday, Sunday. If I don't head out to Modesto and then down to LA, that's kind of my plan. So yeah, Cali Coins, if you're around, be sure to just send me an email, CryptoClover. Maybe we can find a good time to connect, or kind of meet up as a group if there's going to be some other people around. But yeah, I mean, I don't think there's really going to be anything revolutionary presented at this platform. Josh is going to be the main guy, kind of heading that thing. Glenn's putting on, his kind of, his promotional stuff that he's doing. He's kind of coming at it from a little bit of a different angle. So I think in terms of like what you're going to see, like innovation-wise, I think it's probably going to be more with what Glenn's doing with his project that he's working on. I think Josh is really going to be more of a guy that's just going to be leading the the BitConnect platform at the blockchain expo. I don't anticipate that he's going to be revealing anything like the trading bot or the technology. I think he's really going to be giving some of the same answers to questions that we've been seeing. Glenn needs to do more videos. Yeah, well, he's kind of moving in a different direction. He hasn't put out a video in like a month. I think he's going to be doing more lifestyle videos. He's not necessarily a trader. He doesn't have a whole lot of experience with cryptocurrencies. His experience is more in network marketing and internet marketing. That's what he's going to be focusing on, and he's kind of moving in that direction. So I think that there's some different ways of looking at utilizing your skills to the best of your ability in the cryptocurrency space. And so I think that would be something I would recommend for most everyone, is try to identify what you're really good at and really focus on those. And that's what I've really been trying to focus on mine. My channel is kind of working on some of the things that I can speak on, some of the different aspects that I can bring. I feel like I'm much better in person explaining a lot of these things, where I can kind of relate to the person a little bit more, especially on their understanding level. So I kind of struggle with, like, do I get super technical, or do I kind of make this more grounded to appeal to a wider audience, especially since I'm over here in Asia and I do these live streams pretty late, and they tend to not really hit the US. I'm on a little bit earlier, and so I think that's kind of why I'm staying on a little bit longer. So yeah, we're at 37 minutes. So I appreciate you guys staying online, and I think I'm going to go ahead and call it a stream. I'm going to be checking in with you. I've got plans to go to a pretty awesome little hotel here about 2 hours from here, so I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully the internet's good, and I'll keep you guys posted on all my travels. Like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next